I think the thing about loneliness is that we think that loneliness is cured by being around people. Like, we genuinely believe that if we are constantly surrounded by people, that we will never feel loneliness. But the thing about it is that loneliness is never cured with people. It's always cured with awareness. And more times than not, being around people kind of amplifies and magnifies that feeling of being alone. I would say that I'm in a period of my life where I am kind of forced to be okay with being alone. And there's a difference between being alone and being lonely. Being alone, well, let me first talk about being lonely. Being lonely has a very negative connotation to it. And being lonely I feel like that is something that we are always preventing or trying to prevent. Like, we don't want to be lonely because we feel as though that being lonely is lame. Being lonely is... Hold on, my dog is going crazy. Sorry about that. But being lonely is a scary thing. It's something that we are always trying to prevent, which is why we find ourselves in situations that do not serve us in the name of being not lonely, I guess. But the thing about that is that you will continue to find yourself in situations that do not serve you because you have never mastered the art of being alone. Now, the difference between being alone is that you are aware that there is nobody around, but you are okay. You are content with the idea of being by yourself, because being by yourself doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing. And I think that's something that I'm growing to learn and understand about being alone, because I'm seeing now that by being alone, I'm actually getting the time to do the things that I've always wanted to do. Like, I've been putting off making this style of content for so long, but I have been by myself for hours on end for most of my days. And now I'm just bored. Like, I'm bored and I'm actually thinking like, man, what could I actually do with this time? But I'm seeing now that, oh shit, I could actually start making the videos that I actually want to make. Like, I went through a period of where I was doing reaction channels and stuff like that. And it's not to say that I didn't like reaction channels, but I'm realizing that I find way more enjoyment in being the source of things rather than reacting to other people's content. And it's no shade to people who do reaction channels, but for me, I get a lot more fulfillment out of this. But yeah, being alone has really forced me to take a good look at myself and ask myself, what is the life that I actually want to create? Like, I'm looking at everything in such great detail because I am finally getting the time to basically start with a clean slate. Because when you're not alone, you're kind of forced to fall victim to distractions, whether that be with relationships, romantically or platonically. Finding yourself in, yeah, I guess it's really friendships and dynamics and stuff like that, because for a long time I've been in dynamics where I'm seeing that, man, these were just distractions. They weren't really serving me the way that I needed to. But I would have never came to these realizations had I not arrived at this point of being alone. Because I don't want to say loneliness, because I'm not lonely, but I am alone. And I think that it's important to be aware of the difference, because the more aware you are of if you're lonely or if you're being alone, the easier it is to ask yourself, what is it that I need to do to ground myself and to feel whole? Because I think that loneliness is really just separation from self, separation from God, and not giving yourself the attention, love, and validation that you would get from somebody else. Because we think that by seeking these things outside of ourselves, that is going to cure our loneliness, but it rarely ever does. I would go out on a limb to say that it doesn't. You ever hear those stories about people who find themselves in relationships and they feel even more lonely than they were when they were single. Like, they are more lonely in a relationship than they were when they were by themselves. Why is that? It's because if you never take the time to ask yourself who you are and what you enjoy before you get in a relationship with somebody, all the relationship is going to do is mirror back what you have not yet come to terms with within yourself. So if you are somebody who is lonely and you get into a relationship, all that person is going to do is reflect your loneliness. But it's important that you take time and spend time with yourself to really ask who you are, independent of any sort of bond that you have with somebody, because not only will it make the relationship better, but it'll make your life so much better because you're actually living for yourself and you're not living for other people. And once you find the things that you are interested in, the things that actually make you happy, the things that actually fulfill you, you don't find yourself in the same situations where you're questioning, does this person even see my value? Does this person even care about me? Does this person even love me or love me in the way that I deserve to be loved? Because you don't have to put up with BS anymore. Like, I think that is one of the things that I'm loving the most about being alone, is that I don't really have the time to be in situations that do not serve me, because I actually enjoy my own company. Like, I don't have to be here. I want to be here. I would like to be your friend. I would like to be your boyfriend. But if you're not giving me the energy that I know that I deserve, yeah, I might as well just be alone. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. And I think that that gives you such emotional sovereignty. And honestly, it makes you so much more attractive because you're not doing things out of lack. You're not doing things because you want a particular outcome. You're doing it because this aligns with who I am. And it sucks when you realize that, you know, I have to remove myself from this dynamic, because you form bonds with people, you form relationships with people. But at the end of the day, there is no reason to be unhappy in any aspect of your life. And if you find yourself in bonds and predicaments that make you feel lonelier than you would feel by yourself, you'd be better off being by yourself. Because it may feel weird like the first couple days or weeks, but over time you start to realize, like, man, being by myself isn't actually that bad. Like, I can actually do whatever I want. I could go to a bar. I could go to the club. I could go to a nice dinner. I could go on a hike. And your outlook on life starts to change because you're no longer looking through the lens of despair. You're looking at life through the lens of opportunity and abundance, because now you're comfortable, you're secure, and you're whole within yourself, because now you're actually taking the time to anchor yourself in the things that you actually care about. And it's very important that you get clear on the things that you care about, because once you do that, you never have to stress or worry about anybody coming or going in your life. And I think that is one of the most powerful places that you can be, because take my life, for instance. There were so many relationships and bonds that I found myself in because I was afraid of being by myself. I was afraid of losing this person, because I feel like if I lose this person, then I don't know, like I would feel like I wasn't worthy of love, or I would feel like I can't attract somebody who knows me like this person. You develop attachments and stuff like that, and it's not healthy. It's not healthy to be in that position, because whether the person realizes it or not, they start to take advantage of you. They start to manipulate you and gaslight you into believing that, yeah, who would you be without them and stuff like that. And you never want to be with people that lead you to believe that you would be nothing without them or anything like that. Like, you want to be with people who energize you and who uplift you and make you feel like you are the best person ever. And I think that really taking the time to be by yourself and run inventory on the things that you do or don't want in your life will ultimately lead you to alignment. It'll lead you to a life that you are really excited about. Like, I'm excited about life now. Like, I'm excited about growing this YouTube channel. I'm excited about my music. I'm excited about the things that I was not giving my all to because I was so caught up on not being alone or not being by myself, which is crazy to think because it's almost like I was placing my importance on something that wasn't even real. And when I say it's not real, I'm more so talking about the idea of being with somebody all the time or being friends with a particular group of people and developing a sense of security through those things. But security doesn't come from anything external. Security always comes from within. So it's important that you are taking time to ask yourself those difficult questions. Am I afraid of being alone? If so, why? Like, what is it about being by yourself and facing yourself that is so terrifying? Because I think once you can ask that daunting question, you start to realize that there isn't really anything to be afraid of. Like, being by yourself isn't something to be afraid of, but I think we have been conditioned by society and by other people that being by yourself isn't something that's worth doing. But it's one of the most transformative things that you could do for yourself and actually accept, like, man, nobody's calling my phone. Like, I think the only person I talked to today was my mother, at least on the phone. And I'm okay with that. I used to have somebody that would call me every day. She's no longer a part of my life. That's fine. You know, some days it's harder than others, but it's not something that I hang my head over because really and truly, I can be 100% honest and say that that dynamic wasn't something that served me. But by removing myself from it, I am now getting back to my passions. I'm getting back to the things that make me feel whole and complete, so that a situation like that could never be something that I attract or manifest. And I'm really grateful for that. And you should be grateful for being by yourself too, because you're amazing. And you shouldn't think that you're a loser for being by yourself. Like, I think that is one of the most powerful things. It is one of the highest forms of strength, I feel as though, being by yourself. Because if you could walk through life by yourself and know that no matter what, you got you, you'll be unstoppable. Like, there's literally nothing to be afraid of. There is no opportunity that you will feel afraid to take. There is no risk that you will be afraid to take. There is no person that you will be afraid to talk to or lose. And you can do things from your own power. And you aren't relinquishing that power to anybody or to anything outside of you. You become the operant power. So if there's anything that I want you to take away from this video, I want you to understand that the reason that you are afraid to be alone, or the reason why you hate being alone, is because you do not want to face yourself. You do not want to take the time to get to know who you are and really ask yourself, what are the wounds? What are the things that I am masking? But the minute that you actually take time to really analyze the things that you are afraid of, or the things that make up who you are, and you actually heal it. And when I say heal it, I really mean, like, take the time to, go into emotional surgery, if you will, to really get to the root cause of why you are afraid of being by yourself, and what is this thing that I'm trying to escape. And you can actually learn to sit in those uncomfortable truths, man. You start to look at life entirely different. At least I know I do. So be okay with being alone. It's not terrible. It has its moments where it can feel lonely, but it's not something that you have to constantly escape. Sometimes being alone is a good thing. I feel like it's the best way to heal. One of the best ways to heal is to be by yourself, because a lot of the answers that you seek externally come from within. And I think it also helps you get closer to God. So that is all I have for you all today. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.